For those of you who are unsteady with your balance, winter is especially dangerous if you're going outdoors, but if you do have to walk on the icy conditions, we're going to share some important balance exercises to help keep you upright. So we have personal trainer Ryan Woods from Enfuse Fitness in Connecticut. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Seth.
It's such a problem for people, though. I see people sliding. I haven't done it this year, which by saying that out loud means that I absolutely am going to fall at some point. So what can we do to get people more well on their feet so they're not falling down?
Well, two of the things that we have to focus on, especially as we age, is balance and flexibility, okay? And you don't need anything sexy to be able to incorporate these types of exercises into your daily routine. They're incredibly effective. But something as simple as just balancing on one foot, just like that.
I can do that.
So when you're standing in line to get your Frappuccino at Starbucks, you know, kind of indiscreetly, just...
You can do it while you have the refrigerator door open. Almost any time you're standing, you could stand on one leg.
Yeah, so you can do these types of exercises at home, even if you're watching Mass Appeal, watching the segment. You can
stand
simply
up with us.
Lift a leg, you know, and then what winds up happening is you can have, there's myriad variations to single leg. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Look at you.
I've been practicing.
So that's... Okay.
Is that a variation?
That's a variation, and you caught yourself. So what we find is that, you know, when you're slipping, that's a pretty traumatic event, okay?
Yes.
So the benefit of a single leg exercise is to try to prepare us in a sense that it's capable of stabilizing your body on a single leg, because if one leg goes up, both legs go up, unfortunately. There's nothing you can do.
Exactly. Then you're on the floor. It doesn't look good.
So, again, you have that single leg balance. So you just kind of stand there with one leg in the air. You can time yourself 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute, then switch. Okay? And you can make this more difficult just by kind of kicking your leg out to the side or kicking it out in front of you and kind of offsetting that weight.
And I think a lot of people, the trick to balancing on one leg is to stare directly at something.
Focus. Find a focal point, concentrate on it. It makes it a lot easier for you to stay balanced.
But maybe if you're trying to do a little training, it's best if you look all around, so then it's as if it's a real-life situation.
Well, your head doesn't typically snap around unless you've lost your balance.
I don't know. I look around a lot when I'm walking. All right, what's the next exercise that we can do? Okay,
the next thing that you can do, again, is you can offset that single leg work. I don't want to rush through that because you have a senior population, and obviously we want to cater to them because this is who it's going to affect the most. You know, rebounding from an injury like a slip and fall.
Like this gentleman right here.
Yes, I mean, that can be an incredibly traumatic event and very hard to recover from. So we want to make sure that we focus on these simple exercises so they can do it at home. You can pick up something like a gallon of milk, anything that you have at your house, but again, you can offset the weight, all right, and you can just try to balance yourself, okay? Kind of switch it between hand to hand. Again, you're incorporating some of your glute, you're incorporating your thigh, some of the hip musculature to be able to stabilize yourself. So you don't have to progress it too fast. You can start with very simple things.
Now, I see that we're working on our legs and our glutes you mentioned. Does it all come down to core strength, though, when it comes to saving yourself from a fall or having balance generally? What role does your core play in it all?
Core strength, obviously, is pretty much the center point, the focal point of all strength, okay? Because it's kind of stabilizing the top and bottom half, all right? And it's working together to try to bring harmony within those two components. So yes, but having strong musculature in the leg, independent of one another, is also incredibly helpful. If you do lose your balance, you're able to kind of control yourself a little bit more effectively.
Well, let's talk about a few more exercises that we can do.
Okay, so another exercise, which would be like the next variation of that, is kind of hinging at the hip on one leg. So you kind of like push your butt back and then bring your hips forward. So what would happen here is a lot of people, when they do this exercise, is they try to use,
Am I doing it?
That's fantastic.
Oh,
so,
well, thank you.
So what you do is you keep a slight bend in that knee.
Okay.
And then you drive your hips backwards so you get a stretch in that hamstring.
Oh, yeah, that's
while
tight.
maintaining an upright torso. You see that? So you try to arch that chest up, keep a nice neutral spine, and as you hinge back, you won't be able to go quite as far. You can reach your hands down.
Okay.
But you get that nice stretch right here. Hold that position and come right back up. All right?
Okay.
So right there, you can play with those types of variations. Now, what happens is a common mistake is when you ask somebody to stand on one leg and touch a part of their leg, like let's say you aim. This is your target, okay? People will just touch it with their hands.
They're not engaging anything else.
No, they're not drawing their abdomen in, and they're not hinging from the hips, so they lose the whole entire point of the exercise. So you really want to try to draw the abdomen in, tighten it down, push the hip back, and try to engage the back of the leg, tighten up that hamstring, and then that way you get that hinging action.
So maybe the end goal is to try to touch the floor if you can get to it.
Yeah, you know, that obviously, especially for a senior population, unless they've been working on their flexibility for a long time, that might be a very aggressive progression. But you know, it is obviously beneficial to work towards that depth if you can maintain that, but it all comes down to the flexibility of your hamstrings.
What's next?
Okay, the next one is because everybody has stairs in their household. You know, this is something that they can do on their own. What you do is, this is, again, another single leg version, but what you're doing is you're kind of pushing your hip back, touching your foot, and coming up. And you're trying to maintain focus on the center of the foot as you drive your hips back, touch that back foot, and you drive forward. So you're extending the hip, tightening up the glute, keeping the core involved, driving the hip back, touching that trail leg, and then coming back up.
Can I try?
Yeah, absolutely.
So take me through, because I was half listening. I'll be completely on it this whole time.
Okay, so I want to have you reach, because that's going to make it a little easier for you to counterbalance. Okay, so first thing is you push your hip back just a touch, arch your chest up, and then all you got to do is lift this toe and just touch the back heel to the ground.
Oh, back heel to the ground.
Yeah, so you're like almost like you're sitting back.
Okay.
And then go ahead and it's right back up, focusing right here. Okay. So you go ahead and just drop it right down, nice and controlled, and then right back up.
And if people even have books in their home, you can stand on a book or something, because this is probably, what, 5 inches off the ground?
Yeah, it's only a few inches off the ground, so obviously you'd want to increase the range of motion, increase the depth of the step. But as you do that, you're going to start to, again, engage the musculature of that leg.
I'm feeling it, and I'm impressed. I'm already feeling it, which probably speaks to the lack of shape that I'm in.
No, to be honest with you, even coaches, you know, this is a difficult exercise even for seasoned athletes.
So these are just a few things that we can do.
It is.
But I think if nothing else, at its core, when you're standing up next time, yeah, grabbing a glass of milk, doing whatever you're doing, do this every once in a while.
Yeah, try to reach.
You might look a little weird, but you could say, if anybody questions it, I'm making myself better.
Yes.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure having you here. Great week. This is a great week. Come back sometime.